Scorpio, welcome. This is Crow Indigo Intuitive Tarot, and this is your weekly read. How y'all doing out there? I think I had one turned over here. One of the cards in the deck was turned over. Just Ace of Swords. Maybe that's a special message for you. We're not doing jumpers today, or flippers, or whatever you want to call them. But we'll see how that plays into your reading when it comes up. The Ace of Swords. It's about clarity, absolute clarity on something, coming to a place where you really understand the truth of something at last. So this is a weekly reading for Scorpio placements, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's general, so it's not going to resonate for all of you. Oh my goodness, Spirit really wants to talk to you today. We've got cards jumping out all over the place. The Eight of Wands in reverse and High Priestess in reverse. So things have been delayed because you're not listening to your intuition, is what I would get from those. And this week, maybe you're coming to a place where you're more clear on the reality of a situation. I'm just going to give these one shuffle since we've got so much energy piled up in this deck right now for you. I wasn't doing that earlier. Let's see. What did I tell you? It's not going to resonate for all of you because it's a general reading. But hopefully there'll be something of value for each of you to take into your week. We're using the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot as our base deck. We will do some clarifying pulls from the Linestrider mini deck and finish with an oracle card from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. So, Scorpio, Seven of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and the Prince of Cups. The message I'm getting here, and I don't know, this is gonna, let me see if I can find a way to make it more general. The thing that's coming to mind at the moment is you have invested in something and you're waiting for it to start to pay dividends, but you're feeling a little conservative with your resources right now as you're waiting for things to grow, as you're trying to be patient and wait for your plan to progress to the point where you reach your goal. And you've had to make some hard choices along the way. You've had to really have a laser focus on what you want to achieve. And there's this frustration that it's taking so long to get where you want to go. You're dedicated and you knew it was going to take some time. That doesn't mean it necessarily is easy to manage the feelings that come up, feeling the frustration along the way while you're waiting for things to come into play. I feel like you're doing all of this for love. I feel like you're doing all of this for a child that you're supporting, or that you, for some of you, this may be a custody situation. You're setting up, an apartment with an extra bedroom. You are, getting your insurance policies in place. You're getting steady employment. You're getting proof that your taxes are paid. You're getting all of your ducks in a row so that you can welcome a child into your home, whether that is through adoption or through fostering, or if it's your child but you don't have custody at the moment. That's what's coming through. I know that won't apply to many of you, but there's someone, one of you Scorpio folks out there, who is really being very disciplined and taking all the necessary steps so that they can welcome a child. For others of you, it is, you're trying to get your life in order. You're trying to just have a really good, structured, disciplined life because you're hoping to find love. You're hoping that, if you've got every other part of your life sorted out and stable, that you'll be sort of giving the universe a sign that you're ready for that special someone to show up. It's possible for those of you that aren't in a relationship, don't want a relationship, have nothing to do with children. A third possible interpretation I could see here is that this is kind of just a new opening up to the world. Like, you know, this could be someone who's rather conservative and kind of keeps to themselves, and they're finally feeling secure enough. For those of you that this may relate to, you're finally in a position in your life where you feel assured and secure and safe enough to open yourself just a little bit to friendships, to some sort of connections with other human beings, and you feel a desire to do that. You've never really been lonely when you've been alone for the most part, but now you're thinking it would be really nice to have some sort of connection. And for these folks, I get that. You know, I tend to be fairly introverted myself, and with everything that's been going on lately, I find that where I never really cared so much about going out and being social, I'm trying to find ways to do that. And this energy is sort of reading like that, like you're maybe wanting a little bit of connection with someone or anyone, with a friend, essentially. Let's take a look at some clarifying cards for you, Scorpio. Tower, wow, it just flipped right out of my hand. Some significant changes this week for you. Bedrock, how you view the world, how you structure your days, how you interpret reality. Could be changing. Something could be changing that this week for you. Ten of Swords keeps coming up. We're really in an energy of shedding who we are no longer. Moving from where we are in sort of denial that we've changed to a space of accepting that parts of us need to be shed, parts of us need to be let go, and our eyes need to be open to who we are today as opposed to who we were in the past, and allow some grace for that transition, to accept. It's not always easy to accept that we've changed and that we are not who we were, but there's a glorious freedom in that release, and it seems that something is happening to sort of spark that for you this week, that there is some catalyst coming to show you, you know, this, you're not this person anymore. You're somebody new, and there's no need to hold on to that old garment that doesn't fit anymore. Figuratively, literally either, but in this case, figuratively. Five of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. You're feeling a little shut out. You're overthinking a bit. You're a little nervous about that. I think it has to do with this opening yourself, this vulnerability, whether it's because you're, really wanting to welcome this child, that makes you feel vulnerable. You know, that's a weakness that's exposed to the world. You don't have full control over this. You have to kind of present yourself to others and get their approval, and that's not really something you feel completely comfortable with. You're willing to do it in this situation, but it's not something that you do often. So there's a little anxiety about that. There's a little bit of a feeling of being shut off from what you want because you have to jump through all these hoops to get there. In the case of wanting to open yourself up to connections with others, it's the same sort of concept. You know, there's a vulnerability, and when we open our hearts and when we open ourselves like a book and let others look inside, it often feels like, we're having to earn access to the resource we want, to that approval, in a way that, maybe you don't tend to put yourself out there like that very often. And that can make you a little nervous. That can cause some anxiety. I don't think that this is, you know, some people would look at all of those cards and foretell gloom and doom, but that is not how I'm reading it, and it's not how it feels at all. It just feels like you are cycling through some emotions. You're growing as a human being, and that process is not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes there are feelings and they need to be weathered. You need to work through them, and it makes you a more evolved, more whole human being when you're able to do that. Let's take a look at your oracle cards. Let's see if we can find your oracle card for the week. Scorpio. Transformation. See that? It's very much, as a word anyway, we'll look up what it means, but that is a word that fits very well with what we've been talking about. You're growing and evolving, you're changing. Spirit wants you to know this is the time for change, reinvention, or a rebirth into a new way of being. If you've been plodding along, this card suggests that you take measures to shift everything. Don't resist change. The blue color suggests a spiritual renewal or initiation. Transformation doesn't mean taking something old and remodeling it or rearranging a few things. It means becoming something completely different or doing something completely different. Change is often uncomfortable, but it is usually for the highest good. This is a very lucky card, and drawing this card can mean that a wish may be about to come true. It couldn't really be a better fit for what we've seen in these other cards, could it? I love it when that happens. You are in this space of transformation, and it can be a little nerve-wracking sometimes. But this is such an auspicious energy. It's so positive. Such good things are coming your way, Scorpio. So chin up and be really, really excited about your future. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. All your likes, shares, subscribes, comments, all of that helps other people notice this video and get the information which may be helpful for them as well. So thank you so much. Have a great week. I'll see you next time. Blessings.